Our second speaker of the day is Mike Grahl from the Milwaukee Bucks.
As the Vice President of Digital Platforms, Mike oversees all digital marketing efforts for the Milwaukee Bucks, which include team websites, email, mobile, and social media marketing. Mike is entering his 17th season with the Bucks, where he began his professional career in the sales and marketing department.
He has led the Bucks' digital marketing efforts for the past 14 years and continues to grow the team's digital presence with a focus on content creation, fan engagement, brand building, and revenue generation.
Please help us welcome Mike Grahl.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Good. For those of you that are basketball fans, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but Bucks versus 76ers is not up next. I am, as the video alluded to, so much less interesting, but hopefully we do capture your attention a little bit today. I'm very excited to be here today, primarily because I'm a graduate of Whitewater. Also, I really enjoy the opportunity to share a room with bright young minds like yourself. To start off with, my role is interactive marketing, so by definition, I much prefer interaction, dialogue, over the monologue. So I promise you I'll try to keep the monologue portion of this as concise as I possibly can. Also, as a father of 3 young children, I'm very accustomed to and I welcome interruptions. So I encourage you guys, when a thought comes to mind, please don't wait. I don't know if your professors feel the same way or not, but I'd love to see you guys, even if you shout it out, that's fine. Throw your questions out there. Also, because I have kids, I like to bribe them a little bit. That works really well. So we've got some nice items, some swag items for you guys too, for anybody that does participate with us. So there's a couple of things that I wanted to talk with you guys about today. Trying to keep on topic with the conference. This is a great event. I'm very excited to be here to talk to you guys. It's fantastic that you guys are here at this event. To keep in the theme, I want to talk a little bit about how we market with millennials. That's a primary role of my job. It's a primary function of our entire organization. It's a very big segment of our marketing efforts. So we'll talk in some detail about how we reach out, how we grow that audience, how we engage that audience, and ultimately how we drive revenue from that audience. I also want to take some time and just share with you a little bit about my career path and how I got to where I am today. A lot of that's part of the nostalgia that I got when I was driving here onto campus today. It really took me back to where you guys are sitting today. So I thought it'd be a nice opportunity for me to just share with you a little bit about my experience and my background and my road to my career path. So I'll start with that. I've been with the team for 17 years. I'm going into my 17th season with the Bucks. When I was sitting in the seat that you guys are in, I didn't really have a clear path. I didn't know exactly where I wanted to go. I was a varsity athlete here at Whitewater. So I played sports all my life, so it was a big part of my life. Business was also a passion of mine, especially here at Whitewater, that fueled that passion, that interest. Ideally, I dreamed of maybe combining those two. There wasn't a specific sports marketing curriculum here at Whitewater. There aren't at a lot of universities. I don't know if that's changed now or not. I took the opportunity to create independent studies or have independent studies created for me, and Dr. Peltier, is Dr. Peltier here right now? No. He was integral, and he probably doesn't even remember because I know a lot of people come through his programs. He set up an independent study for me at Mueller Sports Medicine, which was very integral in my growth and knowledge, thinking that maybe potentially I would do sports medicine. I did internship opportunities. I took advantage of those as well. But my point in that is that, you know, as you guys sit there in what you're doing, and obviously the coursework that you do is critical to your career development, but just as critical is kind of what you're doing today, right? You're here with AMA. That's an extracurricular event that you're doing outside of the classroom, that you're giving yourself an opportunity to hear from people that are in the workforce, that have had some experiences that they can share with you that you can grow from. Through independent studies and internships and things like that, that's also very critical to that growth. And I look back at my time here, I wish I would have used my professors even a little bit more so, guys like Dr. Peltier. because obviously their success is predicated upon your success, right? If you go out, you get a great job, that's what they live for. That's what they want. So I encourage everybody to take advantage of those opportunities and make sure you utilize your professors as much as you possibly can. Through my time through school and such, it was more about kind of finding what I didn't want to do, oftentimes more than what I did want to do, and that's part of it as well. So not having a fear for trying something, being inquisitive. I'm going to bribe you to ask questions today. Hopefully you don't need to be bribed in the future to ask questions or ever to ask questions, because it really is the key to learning, to being inquisitive. If there's people in your own network, whether it's personally or parents, family, whatnot, people that have jobs, that have careers, to try to find out as much as you can, as possible as you can about it. Take initiative, go out and get some experience in those particular fields to get an idea of whether or not it's something that you think it's something you want to pursue at a higher level. So when I came out of school with the Bucks, I came out of school at Whitewater, I had an internship with the Bucks my senior year. It was a sales and marketing internship. Sales and marketing was putting chairback covers on courtside club chairs and rebounding up in a Hoop 7 fan zone. Not exactly marketing, but it was marketing, and it was a foundation of marketing. I took a lot of sales classes, as most of you marketing majors probably do. I did not see myself doing sales, as most of you marketing majors probably do. I took a sales job out of college, and I took it with the Bucks, again, because I wanted to see what a team opportunity would lead to. I did not want to see what sales would lead me to. I was petrified of sales. I was not very outspoken. I preferred to be quiet, more reserved in nature. I took the opportunity with the Bucks, and it was probably the best early professional decision I'd ever made in my life. Little did I know at the time. The idea of cold calling professionals that were twice my age, CFOs, CMOs, and telling them about how Bucks basketball could help their company grow their business by entertaining clients and employees, et cetera, was terrifying to me. But what I learned then and what I continue to learn today is that sales is pretty much in every occupation that you're going to come across. And you're selling yourself today as you guys embark on career decisions. You're going to sell yourself to potential employers. When you're in the workforce, you're going to sell yourself each and every day, whether it's selling your ideas, whether it's selling ideas that you and your cohorts, your counterparts come up with, whether it's selling directly a product or a service. So don't be afraid of don't be afraid of the uncomfortable. So it helps you expand yourself and go a little bit deeper. I started using technology very, very early on in my career with the Bucks when I was selling. Technology at that time was not used prevalently to sell. And so there was an opportunity for me to learn HTML code. I learned the Adobe Creative Suite, and eventually got to the position where I am today within the organization, which is overseeing all of our digital platforms, which include our website, our email and database, our mobile, and our social media marketing. There's not many people, counterparts in the league, that have a similar career path as me, but again, the business foundation of sports primarily is on the ticket side of the business and on the sponsorship side of the business. I want to talk to you also, I'll give you a little bit of a background on our organization, Bucks. The Bucks are part of the National Basketball Association. The NBA is a very strong brand. It is a very global brand. Global to the extent the Bucks are going to actually experience that this year. We're going to play in London at the O2 Arena. We're going to host the New York Knicks in the global games. Part of the global growth of the NBA is about the players themselves. There's over 100 players in the NBA that were born outside of the U.S., representing 37 different countries around the world. That is significant. We, as digital marketers, are also very much involved in the international realm of the business. We have, as we talk about our social media products, we actually are in China on Sina Weibo. We are producing content, the Bucks are producing content daily to the social network in China, growing that audience each and every day. The Bucks themselves are 47 years in the NBA. We're starting our 47th season with the NBA. We have a storied tradition, very rich tradition. We won a national champion, or we won the NBA title in 1971 with the help of these two individuals. We're only one of 17 teams in the NBA to win an NBA championship. These two gentlemen have their numbers retired. That's Oscar Robertson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. To test the Bucks' knowledge in this room, who can tell me another retired member of the Bucks? John McLaughlin. Dylan, this gentleman needs a draft hat right here. Very well done. Does anybody else have another one? Back there. Sydney, Sir Sid. You have to toss that one pretty far back there, Dylan. We're going to stop at 2. We're going to save some for the questions. But it's great. That's good. That's a good one. We may come back to you with that one. So the game of basketball hasn't changed drastically during that 47 years. It's a little bit bigger. It's a little bit faster. The business around the game of basketball has changed pretty substantially. Our jobs from the business perspective, as I mentioned, is primarily ticket sales and sponsorship sales. There's also merchandise components to our business as well. We're looking to, as a business, control the variables that we can control and insulate ourselves from the variables that we can't control. Anybody think of what that variable might be that we can't control as business people with this? How the team is doing. Young lady deserves a draft hat. We can't control wins and losses. We played Detroit in Detroit tonight. And as badly as I want us to get back to 500 tonight and beat Detroit, nothing I'm going to do as a business professional is going to change that, right? I want us to beat Memphis tomorrow night. Nothing I do as a business professional is going to change that. So the variables that we can control are making sure that we deliver an unbelievable, unforgettable experience to our fans each and every night that we play on the court and each and every day, whether we play or we don't play. That starts here, as you see on the graphic behind me, with our game entertainment. We pride ourselves on bringing an experience that's unique, that's more than just basketball. This is from our home opener we had last weekend, where the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra played on court in sync with video production, part of what you saw in that reel that played at the beginning of the presentation. From our dance team, to our dunk team, to our hoop troop. There's a variety of in-arena elements that we use to make sure we're creating an unbelievable, unforgettable experience. Because there are a variety of Bucks fans. There are the avid fans who are statistical geeks that are playing fantasy sports every day, right? There are the casual fans that have a sports interest but not terrible. And then there's the other end of the spectrum that's very casual, whether they're just coming because a friend brought them, whether they're just looking for a night out. So we want to make sure that we captivate them. We want to make sure that we engage them. We want to make sure that win or lose, they walk out of the arena and they're thinking that this was fun. I want to come back. I want to do that again, right? From a digital perspective, and what my crew does each and every day, what we work and we strive to do, is to create those experiences on the digital platforms as well. And a lot of that has to do with the millennial generation in the digital space. We want to make sure that we're growing our audience, we're giving them creative content, creative messaging, that we're responsive and we're reactive, and we give them a unique experience that's unforgettable and memorable, that they want to interact with us and keep coming back and interacting with us as a brand. We are entering a new era, as the intro video alluded to as well. Senator Herb Kohl owned the Bucks for 30 years, and just this past offseason, he sold the franchise to Wes Edens, Mark Lazary, Jamie Dinan, and a group of minority investors. That has introduced a brand new era of Bucks basketball. These gentlemen are visionaries, and the energy that has come from this transformation has just begun. They are focused 100% on the growth of Bucks basketball, not only from the entertainment brand that we talk about and the experience that we're creating for our fans, but also beyond the game of basketball, to the city of Milwaukee, the southeast region of Wisconsin, statewide, and globally. These gentlemen are very, very successful businessmen in their own right. They're very passionate about their businesses. They're now equally and even more so passionate about Bucks basketball and the NBA. A big component of that new era is youth. Youth from the standpoint of what happens on the court. Who knows who these two guys are? That was a quick hand in the middle to tie. No, don't say that. Oh. Did everybody hear the other one? No. I'll give you guys a chance. Back there, standing up. Who's the other guy? Yep, you right there. Antetokounmpo. He said it right. If he didn't say it right, we weren't going to give him the hat. But yeah, nicely done. The draft hats actually are very pertinent for these two gentlemen here because they are our two most recent draft picks. So that draft hat that we're handing out is actually Jabari's draft hat from this past year. And I'll tell you real quick stories about each of these guys because it's very important as we talk about new era of Bucks basketball. Last year, we had 15 wins. For those of you that don't follow the game, that is not a lot of wins. We were the worst team in the NBA record-wise. From a website perspective, we increased our site traffic by 10%. And I would love to stand here and tell you that my staff, my department is so good at what they do, that's the reason why we did that. I tell them that. And they do. They do a phenomenal job. But the major contribution was Giannis Antetokounmpo and his young counterparts, Brandon Knight, John Henson, and the youth movement that began last year in Bucks basketball. Giannis' story is like none other. You talk about the international flavor of the game of basketball in the NBA. He is the epitome of that. That young man is 19 years old. He is, the average age of our entire team is 23.7 years old, which puts us as the second youngest team in the NBA, only behind the Philadelphia 76ers. So at the age of 19, he came to a brand new world, right? He was born in Nigeria, raised in Greece. When we drafted him in the first round last year, he was relatively unknown. So you think about from a basketball perspective, scouts investing time, teams investing time and money and energy and resources, scouting the entire globe for NBA talent. It's crazy. He was playing in the equivalent of a Division III league in Greece, which wasn't getting a lot of attention whatsoever. But he is, they call him the Greek Freak. And that should have been a trivia question. I should have asked you guys what they call him. They call him the Greek Freak, and it's for a reason, because he is a freakish athlete. He came to us, he was 6'10". At 19 years old, he's still growing. Excuse me, he came at 6'9". Now he's almost pushing 6'11". So he's growing. He plays the game. He's got the mind of a guard. He's got the handles of a guard. He runs the floor like a guard, but he's got all the skill sets of a big man. He is a highlight machine and transforming the way the game is being played, and it's going to be really exciting to watch that young man play the game. But what's more amazing to me from what I do on a daily basis is telling these stories of these guys as individuals. The fact that this gentleman had to come to the United States, he had to come specifically to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, from Greece, and you talk about cultures and differences and those sorts of things, it was truly eye-opening for me and for my entire staff as we create stories and talk about Giannis, about how truly amazing it is, this 19-year-old. If you guys think about, the transition that you'd have to make if you were in that spot, it's incredible. The 15-win season was difficult for us, but it also led to Jabari Parker. Jabari Parker is our first-round pick, drafted number 2 overall this year. He is an incredible individual, and I'll keep talking about how we tell the stories of these guys as individuals, because that's what really helps us connect with our fan base. He is an unbelievable player. He has the maturity on the court of a veteran, and he has the maturity off the court of a veteran. I have never seen a rookie come out and handle himself the way that he does. Polite, respectful, honest, an incredible young man that I hope that we do a good job in conveying that to our fan base so that they can see what a good guy that he truly is, both on and off the court. So we're young on the court. We're young off the court. As a business staff, we've doubled. Some of you may have heard in the headlines lately, our business office is growing pretty considerably too. With our new ownership change, there is an extreme investment in human resources as well. So our office is younger. A lot of it's on the sales side. There's a lot of opportunities that are being created in our business office. We're also young with our fan base. And as we talk about marketing with millennials, the millennials are a very, very important piece of our marketing equation. Before I talk specifically with you guys about marketing with millennials, I want to just share with you a real quick story early on in my career with the Bucks. The gentleman in the middle of this picture is George Grahl, coach. I was always a big George Grahl fan. He started coaching the Bucks my first year with the team, and I was a huge fan of his from a long time ago. My aunt lives in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. George Grahl's a Tar Heel, so like the affinity kind of started there. My sister lives in Seattle. I would go visit my sister in Seattle. George coached the Sonics, and Jenny and I would go to Sonics games, and I'd get the chance to watch George coach. My trendy Seattle sister, one of my visits out there, I needed a new pair of glasses, and so my trendy Seattle sister went and helped me pick out a pair of glasses, and of course, trendy Jenny picked out a very trendy pair of glasses. Dark rim glasses, not my style, not something I would normally wear, but I thought it was cool, so I bought my trendy glasses. Short time later, I had an opportunity to go on a team trip, and I was so excited. Sherry Hansen, our PR director, was kind enough to invite me out to dinner with her and some of the assistant coaches, George included. I was so excited. I was in the hotel. I was getting ready, put on my trendy glasses, cool guy. Went down to the lobby. Sherry was down there, takes me over to George to introduce me. Mike, this is George. Oh, Coach Grahl, so excited to meet you. Such a fan. It's so awesome. He looks at me and he says, I hate your glasses. And he used an adjective to describe my glasses. I can't share with you what that is. I hate your bleeping glasses. It's not exactly what I was expecting. He says, you know why I hate your glasses? Because you're being an individual right now. All my guys are being individuals right now. They're not passing the ball, they're not sharing the ball, they're not running the offense. They're playing like individuals. I hate your glasses. So why do I share this story? What does this have to do with marketing? Nothing really. I just wanted to tell that terribly embarrassing story. But it does. It did then, and it does now to this day. It taught me a very good lesson about authenticity, being who you are and not trying to be something that you're not. George, to me, kind of epitomized that in that moment specifically, but also throughout his entire career. He was what you see is what you get. He was no nonsense and very, very authentic by definition. So as it relates to the business world, as it relates to the Bucks, and as it relates to brand, that's very, very true, and it's very, very important as we market with millennials. We want to be authentic. We want to have personality, but we want to have personality that's true to who we are as an organization and as a brand. That also relates to you guys individually, right? We talked about selling is always something that you guys are doing. As you're working, yourselves, and you're creating these networks, whether it's digital or human, it's about being authentic and not trying to be something that you're not as well. Because people see through that. They do very, very quickly. So it's something I hold very, very dear, and it was a great opportunity for me and a learning experience for me specifically with George on being authentic. That is a staple on our digital marketing, our personalities. So we've got numerous assets, digital platforms that we market on. They are different. All of them, each and every single one of them is different. If you talk about social networks, they're very different. When you talk about whether it's an email campaign, whether it's a web blog, whether it's a Snap, whether it's an Instagram post, all of those are different, and we approach them differently, right? People join in those communities, we call them communities, those digital spaces, those social networks. They join those for a certain reason. There's a certain motivation for being inside of those platforms. So when we enter those spaces, we want to make sure that we're communicating to our fans in a way that they want to be communicated with, and so that they can interact with us. So we don't speak the same on Facebook as we do on Twitter. We don't speak the same on a blog as we do in an email. We make sure that they're very, very specific to the medium which we're talking inside of. This particular example, we talk about personality. One of our main jobs is making sure that our fans understand the personality of kids like Jabari Parker. So the average age of our players is 23.7. Those are millennials, right? So we have a luxury of being able to use our players, our best assets, to really drive our digital marketing, because they are able to speak directly to the people that we most want to get in front of, and they're able to do it in a very casual and natural way, as is showcased in this example at Media Day. Media Day is an opportunity for all of our media partners, radios, TVs, et cetera, to be able to get in front of players. They've got microphones in front of their faces the entire day, cameras snapping the entire day. They come over by our section during Media Day, we hand them a phone and say, hey, we've got a bunch of fans on Snapchat. What do you want to show them? And this is Jabari. This is Jabari's selfie, Pirates himself, screen caps ensue, and a lot of fun transpires from there. A similar example showcasing personality is this one with OJ Mayo. We do a countdown to our home opener every year. We make sure that we capture the personality of our players, so we have them showcase the number. This was 0 days for our home opener. This was actually on our home opener. We also take these photos out and made in what we consider to be some of the best spaces in Milwaukee, spaces and places that are kind of iconic. We also ask fans to help join in the countdown as well. We give them an opportunity to download the countdown cards, take their photos and share them with the Bucks Opener hashtag. We aggregate them, we contest, we give away some swag for fans that do participate if we use or retweet or mention their particular countdown number. So we're using it as an opportunity to showcase the personality of our players. We're using it as an opportunity to engage the fans as well, and a lot of it speaks to millennials. A similar example, not that much different to the authenticity and showing personality and how we reach millennials, is through contests and sweepstakes, right? Everybody likes swag, right? Everybody likes what Dylan's handing out today. So we use a lot of that. We're able to leverage that quite often through a lot of our contests and sweepstakes. We also want to give our fans the opportunity to experience it firsthand. We're constantly creating virtual relationships with our fan base. You know, it's as close to one-to-one as we possibly can get, but it is not always one-to-one. This is an instance here. This is a summer experience sweepstakes that we ran 2 years ago, or a summer, not this past summer, but the summer before. John Henson likes to fish. Did anybody know that John Henson likes to fish in this room? One guy. You want a hat. You just raised your hand to get a hat, didn't you? You can get one. You can get one. I'm generous. John likes to fish. We want fans to know what John's likes and interests are because as a fan, right, you know John Henson is an athlete. You know him as a power forward who played at North Carolina, now playing with the Bucks. You don't necessarily know what his likes and interests are. So we give you an opportunity to, John is from Florida, right, so he's small-town lake fishes. He doesn't big lake fish. He'd never been on a lake like Lake Michigan. He had never gone out on a charter and he'd never salmon fished. He told us he wanted to do that. I'm like, it's great, John. You want to take a fan with you? He's like, absolutely. So we went out, we shot some promos with John. We used all of our digital assets to promote the fact that fans could have an opportunity to fish with John on a boat. This individual, Jeff from Racine, won the sweepstakes, lucky guy, now a season ticket holder, by the way. He gets to have this experience with John, but it doesn't stop there. We want to make sure that everybody, not only everybody who entered that sweepstakes, but everybody who is a Bucks fan sees the personality of John interacting with this particular fan on a boat, doing something that he loves, doing something that the fan loves, so that the next time that a fan, whether you won the sweepstakes or didn't, is at a game or sitting back in your living room watching on TV, and John Henson, he may be, turns the ball over 10 times. Maybe Luke doesn't hit a game-winning free throw. You view him through a different lens, right? Because you have a different relationship with John now, even though it may be a little bit virtual. But it is different than if you saw him purely as an athlete. As an individual, you view him through a different lens. We use selfie as the new autograph. And it's amazing what an opportunity for a fan to meet a player and have an opportunity to do this. We created this at our free open practice this past year. Give fans not only the opportunity, we do still keep the autographs in place, but the millennial generation, the selfie is it. It is amazing with the value of a selfie, not only to the fan, but to us as a brand. A autograph is static. A selfie is dynamic. What is this guy going to do with that picture? Post it. Is he going to post it on his wall? What's a wall? It's different, right? So he's not going to just post it up on a wall and it goes away. He's going to post it up on a Facebook wall. He's going to put it everywhere and anywhere he can. And that's going to get liked and shared and commented on by everybody else in his social network. And now you've got the power of digital marketing and branding carrying out through, multiplying through social networks. Very, very powerful tool. I'm almost to the Q&A point. I told you guys I was going to keep this quick, so I'm going to speed through this. Another key point in marketing with millennials is being on time and accurate with our messaging. We also use our platforms to sell sponsorship through. This is an example of Wisconsin Lottery wanting to reach the millennial generation as well. They know that it's very visual, like we know it's very visual, so we want to use infographics to communicate at the end of a game who the leaders of the game were. We know that those are peak times for our engagement with not only millennials, but all of our fans. So Wisconsin Lottery uses us to capitalize on that as well and put our brand in front of theirs to connect the two. The last thing I'm marketing with millennials is mobile, mobile, mobile. Mobile, mobile, mobile. It is a mobile generation for sure. And it's more than just the millennials themselves. It is our entire demographic is skewing mobile. We work diligently to optimize every single one of our platforms for the mobile experience. Because yes, we want to make sure you've got great content. We want to make sure it's fun, it's engaging, you're going to like it, you're going to share it, all those things. But ultimately, we want the experience that you have, which most times is on your phone, to be seamless, cool, it's got to look good, you got to be able to interact with it. So it's pivotal. We were the first team in the NBA on their new responsive website platform. We are working diligently in our app space, which I think has the most potential for growth inside of the mobile realm. We know that 60% of our traffic from the website that comes off of Twitter is going to a mobile device. So it's the analytics that we look at to make sure that we know where traffic is going, on what devices it's going to, and we're able to optimize the experience from start to finish. So with that, and that fast forward at the end, I thank you guys for your attention on it. I do want to make sure that you guys, hopefully you do have questions. I'd love to be able to continue the conversation. Yep.
Yeah, all right, back during Linsanity, I went to his first appearance, and it was probably the most unique sporting event I've ever been to. And I was just curious, did you guys treat that as a case study?
Linsanity?
When he first came, yeah.
When he came to the league itself as a whole?
No, when he came to
Milwaukee?
Yeah.
Yeah, when he came to Milwaukee. I mean, we have case studies all over the place, and he's talking about Jeremy Lin. So I guess for those that didn't have a microphone, he asked about Linsanity. Linsanity was Jeremy Lin. We talked about the international part of the game. He has a unique story in that he was a player at Harvard. He came to the NBA, and he blew up in almost kind of an unknown fashion. His story is not that unique, not that different from a lot of others. different on a smaller scale. So with Linsanity, when we talk about how we market to our fans, there was a specific segment and a specific audience that gave us a good opportunity to reach fan base that was really, really excited about Jeremy Lin coming to Milwaukee. And there's usually, we look for each one of those on every single game that we have. That one was magnified significantly.
We're going to continue to have the rest of the questions. If you have a question to line up here, we have about 7 minutes. And if you're asking the question, please stand here.
I don't have that much swag, so I'm sorry, you guys. We're going to probably run out. You can hit. Yep.
All right, so this question has to do with branding.
Yep.
What are some of the driving forces or factors that lead to a decision to rebrand your team, like with a logo, team colors, or uniforms?
Yep. There's questions about branding, and there's a lot of factors that go into a brand. There's a lot of research that goes into a brand. There's a lot of surveying that goes into brand study. We haven't done that much rebranding in our time. We had a recent rebrand. If some of you are familiar with our new court that we introduced last year, that was part of a kind of a refresh. There are a lot of factors, and primarily it's research based.
Okay.
This question's about the campaign for the new arena. How close are you reaching your goal for the campaign?
Good question. Our ownership is very, very excited about the opportunity to make a difference, not only, as I mentioned, for fans who come into the game themselves, who experience Bucks basketball on many different levels, but also in the community itself as it relates to business community, as it relates beyond the city limits of Milwaukee into the southeast Wisconsin. It's still fairly early in that process, but I can tell you that it's continuous and ongoing, and there is a sincere commitment from every level of our organization to make sure that the Bucks are in Milwaukee long term. And they not only revitalize the Bucks basketball itself, but they revitalize an entire community around it.
It's a question about marketing strategy in general. Do you work alongside with the NBA's marketing department, or are you your own separate entity, or
Yep, that's a great question.
A little bit of both?
We are part of the NBA, and one of the best things about the NBA is they actually have a department specifically dedicated to best practices. And so I have counterparts in every other market, every other city that I talk to. The league connects us to on a regular basis, weekly, in fact. But the league then also works very much to connect, to gather best practices and share those best practices with all the teams from every single department. We operate, like I can speak to the digital front specifically, like in terms of our digital assets, we have control of all of our digital assets. We have the help and resources of the NBA. They help with a lot of economies of scale. So it's a little bit of the best of both worlds. There are certain things, especially when it comes to the sponsorship realm, that there are guidelines and things of those natures that we have to make sure we abide by. But for the most part, teams are their own entities.
Thank you.
Yep.
So you're VP of digital platforms. Do you work at all with the players and what they're tweeting and what they're posting? Do you kind of manage that at all, or is that up to them? And
yeah, we've got a player development department that is dedicated not only on their communication, but their growth as individuals, because these are young men that are making big lifestyle transitions themselves. So they work with the players throughout, navigate that entire course. From a digital perspective, we are very active with our players for sure, because as we're trying to create content, we use our players quite often, and we use those opportunities to communicate with them. Oftentimes, they're branding themselves, just like we're branding the Bucks. They want to make sure they have opportunities to leverage us. Obviously, we have opportunities to make sure that our fans, that they're profiled and put in a good light for our fans as well to grow their personal brand. So we're working with them on a very regular basis.
Hi, I was wondering, you talked a lot about experience. Do y'all have any specific KPIs to measure experience, or how do y'all actually track that?
Yep, yeah, our KPIs they vary depending on the platform. When we talk specifically on the digital front, our KPIs vary with each platform that we're on. We are constantly looking at KPIs from every single one of those, and those are our drivers. We're very reporting based, have a strong reporting focus, so we make sure that all of those decisions that we're making forward facing are driven based on the decisions, based on the statistics that show what's transpired on each different platform.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
With the Bucks struggling last year, what were some of the marketing strategies that you used to improve fan engagement? That's
a good question. A lot of it was, again, showing the youth of our team, players like Giannis, and a lot of it was highlight video driven, specifically from a digital perspective. We wanted to make sure that fans, if they weren't tuning into the game, if they decided not to come to a game, that they saw the enthusiasm that these young men can create on the basketball court and how bright their futures are. So a lot of it had to do with that. We do have to get very, very creative. We do different creative campaigns. A lot of it's sponsorship related. We'll do beard nights to try to reach a different audience, to spice things up a little bit. We'll also do things like Best Brought to get fans involved with creation. That's not necessarily specific to, hey, come attend a game, but again, connects fans to the brand a little bit more so. So a variety of different things.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, let's thank Mike one more time for presenting for us.